Welcome back to AFTV, guys. We've got an AFTV Reacts because we got some news to talk about that doesn't involve the North London derby, because we're still painting from that one, aren't we?
No, I still want to talk about North London.
Oh, you still want to talk about it? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, this is going to be fun.
Yeah,
An hour of tactical insight wasn't enough.
Pain.
As you can see, I'm here with Robbie. Hello, Robbie. Has there been anything about your Friday that's cheered you up?
No.
No, fair enough. Did you do Best of Enemies today with expressions?
I did do Best of Enemies with expression, and he was giving it. What made me laugh though when I did Best of Enemies, and guys go and check it out, watch that over on DR Sports, is that when I said to him, so you're going to get top 4 then? Mm-hmm. He refused to answer. Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, even if we don't get top 4, we beat you. And I'm like, well, hold on. If you don't get top 4 and we get top 4, you beating us doesn't really mean nothing, because we beat you at our place. We put 3 past you. You put 3 past us at your place. But it's all on who gets the Champions League football. So, you know, he refused to answer that question. So that shows me that some Spurs fans are still very nervous. And it shows me that it's still in our hands. However, yes, they have to have the 2 easier games left. Mm-hmm. But it's still in our hands. Mm-hmm. So his response alone shows me that as Arsenal fans, we need to be positive, and the players in particular need to be positive going into that game against Newcastle. That is a FA Cup final, that is a Champions League final, that is a World Cup final. That is the biggest game of the season for Arsenal, right? Before it was yesterday's game, now we've got another bite at it. It's almost like we've got extra time.
Yeah.
Right, so we've got to take full advantage of that on Monday. It won't be easy. Newcastle are a good side. You know, if we'd been playing Newcastle pre-Christmas, we could have been pretty confident. But it's going to be a big task. But it's a game that we can win. So I like what Mikel Arteta was saying. You know what I mean? Let's just forget about Tottenham, which has been hard to forget today. But let's forget about Tottenham and let's just go for it and try and win that game, because I think if we win on Monday, I'm very confident. I feel very confident that we could beat Everton in the last game. And I was even looking at the fixtures, and I feel that Everton, could be safe by the time they play us.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm looking at the games, and Leeds. I think if Leeds lose at the weekend and Everton win, Everton are safe.
Sure.
And Everton still have another game during the week. They have a game in hand on Leeds. So. And you never know who's to say Burnley couldn't do a job as well. So, you know. You
never know. If you're the Arsenal players, though, how difficult is it to shake it off? Because when we did the full-time show yesterday and I heard everyone's reactions and I spoke to everyone, by the time that show ended, call me crazy, because only a couple hours after the game, I kind of had this sudden wave of, oh, but we're still 4th and it's still in our hands. And actually, I was excited. I was like, let's play Newcastle then. Let's do it. Like, you kind of want to get on with it. Do you think the players are feeling the same? Do you think they're kind of raring to go and they want to set the record straight?
They should be. They should be. They should be like, you know, they should be thinking to themselves, I wish the game was tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? Because, you know, we are not out of it. You know, they're going to get a lot of criticism, quite rightly so, because there were some big mistakes made in that game. So they're going to get a lot of criticism. It's a North London derby. It hurts. But as I said, they've got a second bite at the cherry. They can get Arsenal players can get the last laugh, right? Because, you know, if they win the next 2 games, yeah, Tottenham, yeah, you beat us, but it didn't matter. We still got the Champions League. And if somebody came to those Arsenal players, or if somebody came to you or me and said to me, Robbie, you know what? You're going to lose 10-0. In the North London derby, but you win the next 2 and get the Champions League, I'll take the 10-0 defeat.
Oh, God, would you?
Honestly, I would take the 10-0 defeat.
I don't know if I'd take 10-0.
10-0 defeat to get into the Champions League, I'd take it.
That's
because
written in the
to me,
history,
it is. But so he's getting getting into the Champions League, getting better players. You know, we're talking today about Paulo Dybala. What is it? You know what you're going to say regarding that. With, as you put in the title, if we get into the Champions League, those are the type of players that we can attract.
Yeah.
So this for me, you know, the game yesterday can be, if we win our next 2 games, it's like history.
Yeah. They've got a chance.
Maybe not 10-0 when I think about it.
Yeah, I'll see that. I was still kind of chewing on that one. Thinking,
maybe I'll revise that to like 5-0. But listen, at the end of the day, heavy loss in that game or Champions League. I'll take Champions League.
I hear what you're saying. 10's a bit mad, but
maybe 10's a bit.
People in the comment section will go 10 is nuts.
Can you imagine they'd have the DVDs will be out now?
Yeah, I mean the comment section, they do make me laugh, right? Because this is an AFTV Reacts kind of news show. We tell people what we think about things we've read. So I do laugh when people call us delusional for the Dybala stuff. Deluded AFTV, Dybala goes to Inter Milan. Listen, we didn't write the rumours, okay? We didn't write them, but we also come with fairly credible sources, and there's a story here to talk about. Paulo Dybala, have you got the Tottenham stuff off your chest, or you still?
I'm sure we'll still be talking about it throughout the show. I'm sure we'll still be talking about it, but
well, we definitely got to talk about Newcastle in more detail in a bit. Let's get on to this Dybala stuff, because I'm going to hold my hands up. I haven't followed Marcello Chirico's work, verified with lots of followers on Twitter. Seems to be a reliable journalist, and he has tweeted. I've done the cheeky translate from Google on Twitter, even though it is in Italian, I can read it, but don't want to get it wrong. He has said that Dybala has always favoured a move. Sorry, Inter Milan basically are interested in him. They're the favourites. But if Arsenal qualify for the Champions League, these are his words, the player will move to Arsenal. And he's not the first person to come out and speak about Dybala today. Quite a few's come out. From Sky Italia, apparently Paulo Dybala's agent is in London. Arsenal, one of the most interested clubs in signing him this summer. And again, via Sky Sport, and it's Mirko Nicolino has said that, yep, Dybala's agent's in London. First, he's going to discuss the proposal from Arsenal, but Man United are also said to be interested in the Argentinian forward. So, Dybala, the story is, if we get Champions League football, there's a very good chance we get him. That's the rumours coming out of Italy. Would you make of the links? Not the first time we've heard him linked. No. A couple of weeks ago, just before we played West Ham, I did a short video discussing this rumour because it was heavy at the time. I think it was James Ollie from ESPN said Arsenal, one of the clubs interested. So no smoke without fire, and this one's got quite a bit of fire behind it. What do you think?
Well, it'd be a good signing. You know what I mean? He's a name, what I call a name brand striker. I'm not sure, would he give us 20 goals a season? That's what I'm looking for, someone who can get up there with a lot of the goals. But he's definitely a striker of a lot of quality. And it would be, it's adding quality to an Arsenal team that lacks quality, which we saw yesterday. In certain areas we lack quality. So I think it would be a very good signing. I think it would be an exciting signing. I don't think we've really made an exciting signing for quite a while.
Sure.
If you look at the summer that we just had, I remember when I was doing Transfer Daily, and by the way, that's coming back very, very soon.
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting this summer. But I remember when I was doing Transfer Daily, I spoke about our signings being sensible signings, but not exciting ones. And you've seen that, Tomiyasu, sensible signing, not exciting at the time, but now everybody's like, wow, what a signing. Ramsdale, Ben White, none of these signings were exciting signings that had you on the edge of your seat that you was really excited about. But I think somebody like a Dybala is a big name brand, well-known striker around Europe, which would have fans excited. So, I think it would be an exciting signing. But for me, as long as that ain't it, it's, we need more than Dybala up front.
What if Gabriel Jesus came in for 40 million or whatever they're saying, and Dybala on a free? Is that good business?
That starts to look like we're starting to get a good attack together. That's two strikers. I mean, we've all seen what Gabriel Jesus has done in the Premier League, and I think Jesus would do good at Arsenal. I think Jesus at Arsenal will be a success. I really do. But again, I still don't view him as an out-and-out centre forward. So I think him and Dybala both coming in would be good. Would be good. Would be really good.
Got a super chat from Benny says, can Arteta handle a personality like Dybala? Do you know much about Dybala's kind of personality? And I don't really know too much.
You don't really hear stories of him being an unprofessional guy. You know what I mean?
No, I was wondering where that came from. That.
Yeah, I think what it is with Mikel Arteta is that as long as you're professional, you're going to be all right with him. You know what I mean? I think if you're unprofessional, that's where you're going to have a problem with him. So, I feel, you know...
Do they mean more like he's a big player, he's a big personality, you know? It's not... Maybe it's not necessarily about whether he's
a big player, isn't it? But you know, I'm not sure. I haven't really heard a lot about his personality. But he's a big player. He's a big player, and you know, Mikel Arteta is going to have to be able to handle these big type of players because we need more and more of them coming into the club.
Well, C says Dybala hasn't been good in a hot while. And I remember looking at his numbers. There's definitely been a slight drop off from his best seasons, but that was going to bring into another part of the conversation I want to go into about where he'll play for us. Man like Sean, he says, James, did you see Expression's impression of you? Have you seen this? I've not heard.
I haven't seen that. No.
I've no. Let me know where I can find
the
it.
The walking like Twix, as I call him. You know
I'd love to know what you had to say. He's a good laugh. We saw him today. Dane says, I said 5-0 to Arsenal yesterday. Lol, boy, I was wrong. We now have to win our last 2 games of the season, make Champions League. Yeah. And then, you know, hopefully then we'll be able to get players like Dybala through the door. Lost Night says, Robbie, I'm sorry, but Ramsdale ain't miles better than Leno. Look at goals conceded. We were fine there. I don't think it's about goals conceded.
Ramsdale has been an excellent signing for Arsenal. You know, we've got people trying to pick at this and pick at that. We lost to Tottenham, right? And that's the end of it. We've got to get on and go in the next game. None of those were Ramsdale's fault. You know, and I think Ramsdale has had an excellent season for Arsenal. So, and I think Ramsdale has been a brilliant addition. So, no. Jack here says, Dybala is awful. No from me.
We know how he feels about
Blue Pill says, we need a tall striker.
Yeah, so that's the other thing, right? So let's get into this in a sec. Just very quickly, MMJ says, Robbie, you've just made the point not to sign Dybala. Sensible signings become fantastic signings. Big names can lead to disappointment. Don't forget, he's hated by his own fans for slagging them off. I didn't know that. Okay, I don't know. I'd have to look into that.
Been in for quite a while, hasn't he? And I think what it is with Dybala, he's become very frustrated because his lack of game time. And obviously, with Juventus bringing in Vlahovic, you know, that's meant that literally virtually he's not even playing. So,
but let's explore this Dybala thing a little bit more in a bit more detail, because when I see links to Dybala and Jesus, they kind of make a bit more sense in my mind, where you've got Jesus who can play up front and he can hold up the ball and do what he does, but he can also play wide. Dybala, we've seen him be a striker / false 9, number 10, but he's also played out on the right. He's played in that role quite a few times for Juventus, so it gives a little bit of depth and help to Bukayo Saka. And he's got the quality and can score from wide areas. Do you think maybe Arteta's trying to build a forward line that can kind of... They can all alternate and interchange in the way Liverpool do and Chelsea do sometimes when Havertz leads the line, rather than getting that 6'3", 30 goal a season number 9. I just wonder whether that's maybe the aim here.
I definitely think that's the case, because I think he wanted Vlahovic, which would have been that sort of big target man guy up front who's also very, very good on the press and stuff like that. Didn't get him. Maybe he's looking around Europe and saying, right, who else is in that mould? Haaland, but we ain't going to get him, so forget that. Who else is in that mould? Not many. You can't really pick out many. I mean, people talk about Calvert-Lewin. He's had a shocker of a season, so probably he's gone down in the estimations of, you know, Arteta and thinking that he's the answer. So the next best thing is you go for the dynamic front three, which has worked this season for... Manchester City. If you look at their top goal scorers are like Mahrez and Sterling, right? So it's guys alternating across that front three. It's worked for Liverpool this year and over the years. Salah, Mane, now Jota. Now they brought in Diaz. It works. So I think he might be looking at that. We have to remember, a lot of players going to be leaving. Lacazette will be going. I feel Pepe will go as well. You know, so there's going to be a lot of players going. So that sort of dynamic attacking front three might be the way to go, because I just can't really identify a lot of target men type strikers who are also dynamic, because I don't think he just wants a target man but who's slow and just, you know, he's not looking for sort of, there's no disrespect to this guy because he's a brilliant player over the years, but he's not looking for another Giroud. Modern day attacks are quick, dynamic, they press, they get
versatile.
Back. They've got to be versatile. They've got to have a lot to their game. And so I think maybe that's why he's looking at it that way.
But also, I think where these deals maybe make sense, there might be another target that Arteta thinks, this guy for 60, 70 million, Alexander Isak. He might think, actually, this guy could be perfect. But, you know, I know we spent 150 million last time. I know we're a rich club. I know we need the Cronkies to back Arteta. But we don't have unlimited funds. And we, you know...
Especially if we don't get in the Champions League.
Especially if we don't get into Champions League. And we're going to get Europe anyway. We've only got Europa League in 5th place at the very worst. So either way, a squad's going to be needed. I could see Arteta thinking, all right, maybe this guy for 60 million is the guy. But Jesus for 45, Dybala on a free, and then you've got an extra 15, 20 million to go on a fullback. That might be the way he's looking at it and going, actually, we can be a bit smarter here and improve the whole team rather than just throwing it all on one guy. Which is why we might be seeing links like this to players like Dybala who are experienced.
I think free transfers as well are very attractive to Arsenal right now, because, you know, they need a lot of players. I'm just, you know, the amount of players we need. You know, especially if we
beef up that squad.
We get into the Champions League, we need to beef up the squad. Remember, it's a very thin, a very small squad he's been operating with, particularly at the start of this year. Remember, even guys like Pablo Mari were sent on loan, and we got rid of Callum Chambers, and we've been operating with a very small squad because we've had no European football. So basically, it's like they've looked at it and said, no, we may as well let Pablo Mari go on loan. He ain't going to get no game time. Although we could possibly do him for the next two, but it would have been literally, if he'd have been here since January, he would barely have played a game, right?
True.
But next year will be different, because like you said, at the very least, we're going to be in the Europa League. Hopefully, we'll be in the Champions League. Need a bigger squad. Need a bigger squad to fight on both fronts, because remember, it's not just about being in the Champions League, it's about returning back from the Champions League on a Tuesday and a Wednesday night, and then facing down big teams at the weekend and being fresh for those games. So we need to make a lot of signings, because whatever way it turns out, we're going to have European football, right? So we need to make a lot of signings, and somebody like Dybala would make sense. Jesus for me definitely makes sense.
I'm excited about that one.
I would like to see a target man striker. I'm just not thinking. I just can't think who that is. I mean, you said Isaac. I'm not sure how many goals he scored this season. I'm going to look that up actually in a second. But he just doesn't seem prolific to me. That's the only thing.
Well, it's touched on here by Hadi, who sends a really... No offence, Hadi, I really hope this doesn't happen. He goes, remember this, we'll beat Newcastle. Tottenham will draw with Burnley. Sounds good, doesn't it? Then he goes, then they'll beat Norwich and we'll lose to Everton. So I was like, okay. That's
I think
that'd be quite a twist, wouldn't it?
I think if we beat Newcastle Monday, I think we'll get top 4. I really do. I think that last game at home at our place, I'd be, you know, against Everton, I'd be pretty confident that we could get top 4. I really would be.
He then says Gakpo, Ekitike and Scamacca are tall strikers who won't require Champions League football.
But are they good enough for what we're looking to do? Looking at I'm looking at Isaac's stats at the moment. 5 goals and 2 assists in 30 games this season. That's not great, is it? That's not great at all. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? It's just sort of 60 odd million for that. Nah. Look good in the Euros, but that's the Euros. Right? So that's not a very prolific goal scoring record.
Do you think another part of it, though, you look at Isak, right? You talk about being prolific. I mean, I'm not sure. We'll look at Dybala's numbers, actually. I don't think they're exactly amazing. But do you think part of it's experience? I mean, when I was watching the game last night, and I was watching, we were down to 10 men, and the youngsters, I thought, they give their all every time. But do you think sometimes these young players need a 28, 29-year-old who's been there and done it? And you know when you get the ball and you go, I've got Dybala with me. In the same way, a young defence wants that experienced centre-back who you know is going to command. Maybe sometimes you want that experienced attacker who, I don't know what it is. I think it's like a psychological thing. Just almost just relaxes you into it a little bit more. Maybe that's the reason why he wants to look at a Dybala potentially.
Yeah, maybe the experience of him, like you said.
28. Okay.
28.
I think he fits the system perfectly.
29 in November, but 28, yeah.
I've just seen, obviously there's a slight delay on the YouTube stream. I've got your comments in. I've just seen my head pop over and it did look very funny.
Dybala, 27 appearances, 10 goals, 5 assists.
10 goals, how many appearances, sorry?
27 appearances in...
That's not bad.
In Serie A. Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Do we know what position he's playing?
I always say you think of a player like a Dybala, and I know a lot of people... This is the other thing, I guess, even going back to the Isaac thing, I guess you can look on it like this. And I always remember there's 2 signings we made of players that came from Italian football that turned out to be 2 of our greatest ever players. One, Dennis Bergkamp, was not doing it at all over there in Italy, but came to the Premier League and lit it up. Same with Thierry Henry. Remember, he was at Juventus. He wasn't doing it much, doing very well over there as well. So you can sometimes get these players. They need a new challenge, new league, new voices. You're the main guy, you know what I mean? And that can really lift them. So it would be a gamble. But yeah, I think he's not your out and out. Dybala's not your target man.
Yeah,
he's more of a second striker, but
what do you think
he's got qualities.
What do you think of the Cody Gakpo links? Because when we're talking about, a tall striker, Bola says, get Gakpo, he's a young Thierry Henry in the making, young, fast, tall, can play on the left hand as a number 9. Profile-wise, they're very similar, being that kind of tall winger / converted, can get... I mean, his numbers this season are unbelievably impressive. I don't know enough about him, but it seems a potential option, and it doesn't feel like one that's necessarily dependent on Champions League football.
No, listen, there's a lot of good young, hungry players around here that we could bring in, but I do think we need some proven quality in that Arsenal team. You go through the whole team, and it seems to be that. Literally, all of our best players are potential. Yeah. We need a couple of players that they're there now. They're there. They've got, you look at Man City, they've got players that they're there now. Yeah. I know they're streets ahead of us, but Kevin De Bruyne is there now. Sterling is there now. These type of players. So we could do with a few of those type of players. Most of our team is potential. Yeah. From whether it be Ramsdale in goal, to Gabriel and Ben White, to Tomiyasu, I'd say the only player I'd look at in Arsenal's team right now, and I'd say, right, that guy is rated a top quality player right now, is Thomas Partey. And he's been stricken with injuries, but he's the only sort of player that I see that we brought in recent times where you're not buying potential, you're buying quality. Yeah, I agree. And I think we need to make a couple more of those sort of signings. I agree. Andrew's made a really good point here in the super chat. Thank you very much, Andrew. He says, it'll be interesting to see if we make any loan signings, players wanting game time with the World Cup coming up in the winter. That's a really good point. Yep. Maybe the loan market opens up a little bit because there are players who are so desperate to just be getting 90 minutes every week. Yep, loan market is going to be, going to be interesting in the summer. But so is free transfer. The free transfer market is going to be, is going to be interesting as well, because there's quite a lot of free transfers in the offing this summer. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Yeah. Jason says, hey, everyone, showing support from New Jersey. Do you think we'll get most of our deals done before the start of the season this time? I think Arsenal will be quicker with it, actually. Again, a lot of, there's a lot of talks apparently that have gone on. The Jesus one. The Tielemans. Yep. Which I've heard that's very strong. But I think a lot of them are dependent upon where are we? Are we in the Champions League or are we in the Europa League? And I think there's a lot of these players that's going to make a big difference to them. That's why it's huge.
Yeah.
It's absolutely huge for Arsenal. Somebody like a Yuri Tielemans, there's going to be several teams after him. There's several teams after him, as we know. It might come down to be that sways him. Arsenal, and they're in the Champions League. Yes, I'm coming.
Well, a lot of people
Jesus, he's been used to playing in the Champions League. He wants to play Champions League football, So,
well, a lot of people are mentioning Darwin Núñez and asking why we've not really spoken about him much. But the reality is that because it's the same thing. Because
Darwin Núñez has already said, I think he's been linked to teams like Newcastle. He's already said, I ain't going to no club that's not in the Champions League. You saw him when he played in the Champions League against Liverpool. He had a great game. He relished playing in the Champions League again for a better team. He's not going to go and play in the Europa League.
It does matter because even Frankie de Jong, the rumours were really strong that he was going to Man United. And now the latest we're hearing is basically it's not off the table, but he wants to see what elite clubs in the Champions League are potentially in for him. And I think that tells you everything. Even though Ten Hag's at Man United, even though it's big Manchester United, the Champions League matters to these players a lot. So, yeah.
You're a top player. You want to be in the biggest competition that's there. Look at the games over the last couple of weeks and how many people have been, glued to those games, all football fans.
Yeah.
The Real Madrid games. If you're a footballer and you're sat at home, a professional footballer, you want to be playing in those, don't it? You want to be playing in that Real Madrid versus Man City game.
Yeah.
You want to be in those games with that drama and the whole of Europe, the whole world glued into that game. Mm-hmm. Those are the games you want to be playing in. You don't want to be playing in the Conference League.
Yeah.
You want to be playing there. So you'll feel like you arrive when you're playing in it.
Makes all the difference in the world. Speaking of talking about the creme de la creme when it comes to these players and the players we want to attract, Player of the Season nominations have been revealed today, with Bukayo Saka being nominated for Player of the Season, along with Trent Alexander-Arnold, Jared Bowen, João Cancelo, Kevin De Bruyne, Mo Salah, Heung-min Son, and James Ward-Prowse. And then further news, Young Player of the Year, Bukayo Saka makes it as well, along with Declan Rice, Aaron Ramsdale, well done, Mason Mount, Tyrick Mitchell, Conor Gallagher, Phil Foden, and Trent Alexander-Arnold again.
The fact that we've even got players in that, I think last season we had no one in that. The fact that we've got a couple of players in that, it shows that Arsenal are improving. But even those players that are in there are potentials. Saka is a great player, but he's still developing. So is Ramsdale, So that's what I mean. So add some Arsenal this summer, add some, as well as those type of players, but add some real top quality to this squad. I really think we've seen it over, the game yesterday. I know we're missing loads of players, but if you've got to have quality to come in, and then maybe if you've got a quality centre-back who comes in, and there's no slight on Rob Holding because he's actually stepped up when he's come in up until yesterday's game. Maybe the person who comes in is that guy who adds a lot of quality. But it's good to see those Arsenal players nominated there, and then over some of our players that have even been away on loan, like Saliba. I think he's been nominated in the French squad of the year as well. So
I think Lucas Torreira has just picked up his third Player of the Month award for Fiorentina, so he's doing well out there. What do you make of those nominations? I mean, who's your Player of the Year?
I'm surprised that are those the only nominations?
Those are the 8. Yeah, those are the final 8.
Yeah, so
I've got to say, I find that a very strange list, if I'm honest.
I mean, where's Mane?
Where's Mane?
Mane's had a phenomenal.
Thiago doesn't make it.
I guess it's Premier League of the year, because I think Mane, apart from the Premier League, he's also African Cup of Nations.
Well, this is definitely for the Premier League, but
this is only for the Premier League.
Thiago, Rodri. Doesn't he get a shout?
Foden, I think, has had a great season as well.
Just really. I mean, Liverpool player Van Dijk, he's come back in, and look, they've sort of.
You know what? Their best centre back this season has been Matip, I think.
He's been very good.
So he should be in a shout in there. I agree with Bowen. I think he's had a great season. Obviously Salah, obviously Son, Ward-Prowse. A bit surprised he's in there. He has had a good season, but I'm a bit surprised that he's in there. De Bruyne will win it for me. Riyad Mahrez, right, has scored a load of goals this season. So, yeah, a little bit.
Cristiano Ronaldo, playing in a terrible United side.
Yeah, Ronaldo, that's a shout.
Nearly 20 goals, 37 years of age.
37 years old, yeah, I mean, that's a shout.
I'm gonna have a little bit of a moan about this Young Player of the Year one. And I'm not to take it away from any player that wins it. If it's Saka, well done.
Declan Rice.
Right. I think this particular competition is an absolute farce. Mason Mount, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Phil Foden, Aaron Ramsdale, Declan Rice, you can even chuck Saka in there, have all been playing first-team football for years. For years they've been. I mean, Ramsdale, this is I think his third full season, maybe fourth. I think third. Declan Rice has been around for him. Mason Mount, Trent. I mean, it should be like Rookie of the Year. It should be players who have had their first season playing, say, more than 20 games. That's how you should be nominated. If you've played more than 20 games of a Premier League season in a previous campaign, then you don't count for it, because it's just like
he should be maybe Rookie of the Year, because, like you said, Trent Alexander-Arnold is an established player who plays every game. So is Mason Mount. So is Declan Rice. So is Saka. So is Foden. The only people that I look in there and think
Mitchell and Gallagher maybe
is Mitchell and Gallagher.
Yeah, even Gallagher got a full season under his belt last year, but
he's a rookie, isn't he? This is like his breakthrough year.
Yeah,
I think we should be talking about players like that who've had their breakthrough year as a rookie. Yeah. So Mitchell and Gallagher, I get that, and maybe even Ramsdale.
Maybe
Ramsdale, but it's weird.
I see. I mean, that's just my take on that. Manager of the Year, they've gone for Thomas Frank, Pep Guardiola, Eddie Howe, Jurgen Klopp, and Patrick Vieira.
So you see, again, I think they put these things out so early sometimes. Yeah. I think if Mikel Arteta gets top 4, he should be in that.
I agree. If he
gets top 4 with everything, so they might put another one in there.
No. They've just gone for 5. Don't know why they didn't go for 6.
Because obviously Guardiola, Klopp, we get that. Patrick Vieira's had a great season. Eddie Howe, I understand that he's saved. Came into Newcastle. Yeah. They looked like they were going down. He's saved them. Frank, what he's done at Brentford's been brilliant. But I'd put Mikel Arteta in there if he gets top 4. If he gets top 4, he surely has to be in there. And you could even maybe argue Conte, if he got top 4 for Tottenham, maybe he should be in there as well. Because but I think in particular Mikel Arteta, because he would have far exceeded what everybody thought he would have done at the start of the season. Yeah. If he gets top 4.
I think you're right. I think there's... Listen, with all the others, they've gone for 8 nominees. If they went for a 6th, I think you're right. Wait till the end of the season and then see if one of Conte or Arteta gets that 6th. Because listen, I know we hate them and all, but Conte's come in, turned Tottenham around, gets top 4. That's a fantastic job. Yeah. And Arteta, if with the youngest team week in, week out, nails top 4, then again, deserves to be in there. So, by the way, I don't think any of the 5 don't deserve it. Unlike with the other awards,
that's a good 5. It's a good 5.
It's a good 5, and credit to all of them. We've got a interesting super chat from Fardancia. Says Robbie and AFTV used to be honest. Now they're very political in the way they review Arsenal.
If you go in, you get you're doing too harsh. If you listen, I say it as it is. That's what I do. I say it as it is. I'm being very honest with this team this year. Even when I looked at the game yesterday, I look deeper in things, and I look at it and I say, let's remember there's a lot of players in there that have... This run-in for Mikel Arteta must be really difficult, because he's been missing so many key players for such a long time in this run-in. Yeah. We came out of the international break, no Kieran Tierney. He's a vital player, so important, right? Yesterday, there was no Ben White. Right, mainstay, the guy's been playing week in, week out, missing. Right, you know what I mean? There's been no Thomas Partey for a long period of time now. So so many players have had to come in, squad players, and we still got a chance of getting that top 4. So you got big to team up. And yeah, a guy like Rob Holding, he had an absolute shocker yesterday. But then in the previous games, he's done well. So I listen, if somebody week in, week out is poor, I think he deserves to get slaughtered. But I think Rob Holding, you've got to take it in the context of things and say to yourself, right, he's had one real shocker.
Yeah.
But previous to that, he hadn't let the team down. He'd been doing well. As a matter of fact, yesterday, I think he was just over the top. He was too invested in the game, and he was trying to, you know. So
I agree.
Yeah, listen, I'm always honest, and that's how we do things, right? We're not here to just like, you know. I don't just come with controversy for views. That's not how we work around here, right? We do it based on what we see, and we allow fans to have their say based on what they see, and that's how we do it, and that's how we'll always do it, and we will forever do it.
Thank you for the super chat. Let's talk about Newcastle. It's coming Monday night. We got the luxury of watching Tottenham Burnley before. That's on the Sunday. It's a case of Arsenal, do your job and it's yours. I mean, I don't really know how else to say it, because I've talked about this game so many times already since the full-time whistle went yesterday. It's really as simple as, I know if Burnley do us a favour, brilliant. You know, if Tottenham slip up, it gives us an extra chance. But we've got to go and get it done. We've got to go and do our job. And even with the players missing, well, there's enough there. There's enough there to go and do a job at Newcastle. They are a good team. But what more motivation do these players need? And I don't think it's motivation they lack, you know. I think it's just this. Just keeping your head and just... don't do, you know, what happened against Spurs with the red card, and we've seen it a few times this season, ill-disciplined moments like that. Keep your head, play your football, you can beat Newcastle. We
most certainly can beat Newcastle. You'd almost be thinking to yourself, it would be, if somebody could get all of the Arsenal players, take them away, lock them away somewhere where they can't get any news of anything that happens in that Tottenham game, right? So that when they go, you know, they wouldn't have known whether Tottenham won or lost. So that when they're going into that game against Newcastle, it's just, they're just focused saying, we need to win the game. Yeah. Because that's what we need to do. Win the last 2 games and we are there. And it would be a massive achievement for this young group of players. That's all we got to do. Win our last 2 games. I don't think I think at best Burnley could get a draw at Tottenham. It still means, I feel, you know, that we need to go and win our game, right? Because if, say, Burnley got a point, but then we went and lost at Newcastle, we'd still be up against it. Because then that means they've recovered back that point that they're behind us, and they've got a way better goal difference. Yeah, so they'd leapfrog us, They'd leapfrog us. They're going to beat Norwich in their last game of the season. We wouldn't get top 4. Yeah. It's clear as day. Go and win the last 2 games. Now, this is my gut feeling, that I feel Monday is a very tough game. But if we win that game, I am confident we'll get top 4. Because I feel that the last game of the season, with our own fans, absolutely pumped up, I feel that Everton will be safe by that time. I don't think we'd let that slip. But the big one is Monday night, you know. Newcastle, they've been playing well. You know, even the game they lost against Liverpool, they did all right in that game. Shipped 5 at the Etihad. They shipped 5 at the Etihad, but at their home ground, that's what's got them out of trouble in this run, is that their home form has been good. They're defending better. They've had players like Joe Linton that has, like, you know, been a revelation in midfield. They got St. Maximan, who's dangerous down the wings. They got Chris Wood. Callum Wilson is back now. I think Trippier, they reckon, is back. They've got a good manager in Eddie Howe. That is not going to be an easy game. No. It's a tough game. That's why I wanted to get the job done last night. Yeah. Because I know that that's a tough game. Yeah. But where would you rather be going? You know, there or the Etihad, there or Anfield, there. We got to go into that game with a positive attitude that says this game is a cup final. So it's like a cup tie. We need to win or we're out. That's how we need to approach that.
Obviously, Kieran,
throw everything at it, in a sensible way. Like you said, defend sensibly, but throw everything at that to get the win.
Obviously, Kieran in the comment section says, we're the masters of bottling things, Robbie.
You say that, but there's been occasions this season where we've come back from adversity. So the first 3 defeats of the season, Arsenal going to get relegated. Arsenal not going to even finish in the European places. Top 10 places, the best finish for us. Now we sit on the verge of getting into the top 4, right? We went on a run after that game. We came back after the international break. We had 3 defeats. Arsenal finished. Arsenal are done. We go away and win at Chelsea. We go and win at West Ham. We beat Man United. We beat Leeds. We've lost 1 game in the last 5.
Yeah.
That's not bad. That's good. It's very difficult to win every single game, to have gone on that run and won every game till the end of the season. That's only really Man City and Liverpool at the moment that are capable of doing that of all teams.
Yeah.
So just because we lost to Tottenham yesterday and it was a bad defeat, and I think it was caused by something that's been dogging us all season, which has been a lack of discipline.
Sure.
Doesn't mean that we can't go to Newcastle and get a result if we keep like you said, keep our heads, keep our discipline and play our football. We can get a win at Newcastle, but it's not going to be an easy game, but we can get the win. And as I said, I feel if we win that game, I feel we will get the top 4. So it's vitally important. I can't wait for it, really. I'm going to be mad nervous driving up there. It's absolutely huge. But we can win it. We can win that game. It's just not... Yeah. I think it's a bit harsh to call Arsenal bottle jobs.
Yeah.
Team many times this season showed a lot of fight.
Yeah, I think they've shown a lot of ability to bounce back, and when we think they're down and out, they've been able to drag themselves back into it. So it's not about dragging ourselves back into it. We're still ahead of the game. We're in the position.
The position we're in, Tottenham would like to be in.
Yeah, I agree.
If you ask Antonio Conte, would you swap places with Mikel Arteta right now? Yeah. He'd say yes.
Yeah.
Right? They've beaten us, fantastic, but they've got a tough game against Burnley that they're going to feel. They're like, remember the 2 scenarios. They're like, we've got to win the last 2 games to give ourselves a chance. Our scenarios, we've got to win the last 2 games to get into the Champions League.
Yeah.
I like our sounding one better.
Yeah.
But we've got to deliver.
Yeah. There you go, guys. That's the message. That's what Arsenal got to do. Make sure you check out all the content coming out on AFTV over the coming days. We are going to start looking ahead to Newcastle, as we have done on this show, but all the content coming out as well is very much looking ahead to another really, really big game and a second chance for Arsenal to just grab a hold of that top 4 and have it all but sealed. Yes, a big one against Everton, you never write them off, but if we can go to Newcastle and win, that sends a real message to Spurs, who do play Burnley on the Sunday. A reminder of the news, Paulo Dybala potentially coming to Arsenal. That's what they're saying out in Italy. If Arsenal get Champions League football, it's as simple as that. Aaron Ramsdale, Bukayo Saka, congrats on your nominations for Player of the Season and Young Player of the Season, that including Ramsdale for that second award there. Best of luck. Get voting, guys. Go to the Premier League website, wherever it is. Go check it out on social media and make sure you vote for our Arsenal boys. And yeah, on to Newcastle. Thank you, Robbie. Like and subscribe. All that. Have a good weekend, guys.